Hello everyone, welcome to Parthiva Tech. In this video, we will solve the problem of the day question on Geeks for Geeks for 12th May 2023. The problem statement for today is array operations. Let's now open this problem to solve it. Let's go through and understand the given problem statement. Here it is said, you are given an array of n integers. You must return the minimum number of operations required to make this array 0. For this, you can do an operation. Choose a subarray of non-zero elements and replace all with 0. 0 in bracket is given that 0 must be present in the array. If not, then you cannot replace it. Okay. So the problem statement is asking us to determine the minimum number of operations that is required to make all the elements of this array 0. The operations allowed are selecting a subarray of non-zero elements and replacing them with zeros. Let's understand it in a better way with the given examples. So the first example says here n is equal to 4. The size of the array is 4 and array contains elements like 3, 0, 4 and 5. So here the output is 2. So how the output is 2? So first we have to find the subarrays with non-zero element. So here we can see if we see, then one subarray can be this where the element is 3. Another subarray is that 4 and 5 where the element is 4 and 5. That means 0 is not included. So we are getting two subarrays left and right of this 0. So with this we can replace all these elements by 0. So we are not including this 0 in either of the subarrays. So in explanation it is given that first we can choose 3 and replace with 0. So the subarray that contains element only 3. So that will be replaced with 0. And in the second operation we can choose 4 and 5. So the subarray will be 4 and 5 and that will be replaced with 0. So all the elements will be replaced with 0. Okay, so only one example is given here. So what exactly we will be doing? So here we will be seeing that whenever we are getting 1 0, so that we will indicate yes, we have found successfully one subarray with non-zero element and we will replace all of them as with 0. Okay, so the approach which we will be using is a simple iteration through the array, keeping track of the number of operations needed and whether non-zero elements have been encountered or not. Okay, so I hope it is clear. So we will be iterating from the left, and as and when we get 0, then we make all then we just increment the count that yes, we have found that one subarray with non-zero elements and that all the elements can be made to 0. So we have to find that how many such subarrays we can get. Okay, so here if we split by this 0, then we will get two subarrays. One is containing 3, another subarray containing 4 and 5. Okay, so that's why the output here is 2, because we can perform 2 operations. So with this logic only, I have prepared the solution. Let me first go to Java. Let me move to Java editor. I'll explain it line by line what is done here. Actually, it's a very simple question. Yeah. So here we see then what I'm doing here. First we initialize this variable called operations needed variable to 0 to keep track of the number of operations required. Then initialize this boolean variable that is called non-zero encountered, and we are setting this to false, indicating that no non-zero elements has been encountered yet. That means initially we are setting it to false. Then we iterate through each element num that is in this array, and if that number is 0 and non-zero encountered is true, this condition we are checking. If it is 0 and non-zero encountered, this flag is true, it means that we have encountered a subarray with non-zero elements. In this case, we increment the operations needed counter by 1 and set the non-zero encounter to false to indicate that the subarray has been replaced with 0. Okay, so whenever this condition is true, we are incrementing the operations needed, so that this will indicate that all the subarray which we have got just now, so through this operation we can replace all the elements in that particular subarray to 0. And now we are resetting this flag non-zero encountered, so that we can try finding the another subarray. Okay, if it is non-zero, if num is non-zero, then we are setting non-zero encountered flag to true to indicate that a non-zero element has been encountered. Okay, so if we start from 3, then it will be initially it will be set to true. Then when we reach to this 0, then here it will check the number is equal to 0. Yes, number is equal to 0, and non-zero encounter it is true. Then yes, it is true. So whenever we get non-zero encounter as true, so that time we can say that we have got a subset with at least one element that is non-zero. So as and when until we get next 0, we can consider those and that particular range of the set. So that will be a part of the subarray. Okay, so after this iteration we check if the non-zero encounter is true. That if it is, then it means there were non-zero elements at the end of the array and that needs to be replaced. In this case, increment the operations needed counter by 1. Okay, else we just return the operations needed. Finally, return the value of operations needed, which represents the number of the operations required to make all the elements 0. I hope this point is clear. If we go through this one, so here we are getting only 1 0. So this operations needed will be, the value will be 1 here. But after that also we are saying that it is having some more elements, and that's why we are checking if it is true. That means some more elements are there at the end of the array, and no 0 was encountered after that. In that case also, even that subarray can be made, all the elements in that subarray can be made to 0. So that's why we are incrementing the count of the operations needed by 1, and whatever the value we return. Okay, so that's it in this coding part. Let me try compiling this code. So here we have got correct output for this given input. Let's try submitting the solution. So here we can see it has covered all the test cases. So this problem has been solved successfully in this Java language. So when we talk about the time complexity, the code iterates through the array once, resulting in a time complexity of big O of n, which is the where n is the size of the input array. Here we are only just doing one iteration. Apart from that, all the operations, all other operations that is done here, that takes a constant time. So the dominating factor is that iteration through the array, which takes big O of n time. Okay, so this was a Java solution. Let me move to C++ editor. I even prepared C++ solution. The logic is completely same, only the difference we get in C++ and Java related to syntax, that only you will see here. So here also we are doing the same thing. We are initializing these two variables, iterating through this array, and we check where we are getting 0, and at that point whenever we get 0, then we see till this point have we encountered non-zero element or not. If it is, then we are incrementing this operation needed flag counter by 1, saying that one operation is done to convert all the elements found in the subarray which was non-zero to 0. And here we are resetting this non-zero encounter flag to false, so that we can reutilize this for finding next set of subarray, for the next subarray. And if it is not 0, then we are marking it in non-zero encounter as true. This indicates yes, we have found an array, subarray, which contains element which is non-zero. Okay, and if we get at the last, if the non-zero encounter is true, then we just increment, we increase the operation needed by 1 more, and then we return the value. This is just done again to for the elements that array might contain some non-zero elements towards the end also. So if it is saying that non-zero encounter, it is true, that means some elements we have found, one subarray is still found that has not been converted to 0. So that's why we are incrementing the operations needed by 1. Okay, so again the logic is completely same. I'm compiling this code. So even with this code we have got correct output. Submitting the solution. So here with C++ code also we have got correct solution. So this problem has been solved successfully using both language C++ and Java. So I'll provide the link for this question and the link for the solution code in Java and C++ in the description box. Please do check that. That's all in this video. Please like, comment and share the video, and please subscribe to the channel for more upcoming videos. Thank you for watching.